Hello, welcome again to the lecture series on control systems engineering. Now let us continue our discussion on mathematical modeling of physical systems. In this session, let us develop mathematical models for first order liquid level, thermal and pneumatic systems, and also demonstrate modeling of mechanical systems using MATLAB and Simulink. Here, I will consider a liquid level system. So this is a tank, water tank. Into this tank, let us say in the steady state condition, Q bar is the steady flow rate, the rate at which the liquid is entering. Imagine that to begin with, H bar was the head of liquid in the tank and Q bar is the outflow rate. Since it is in the steady state condition, the head remains the same with respect to time. Now let us vary the conditions. I slightly open this valve. Probably here also I open the valve a little more. Then assume that the total inflow rate is Q bar plus Qi. This is a change in inflow rate. And the outflow rate is Q bar plus Q naught. This is a change in outflow rate. Overall, inflow rate is greater than, say, outflow rate. Because of that, head increases. Let us say small h is the increase in head. R, let me call it as hydraulic resistance, and C, let me call it as hydraulic capacitance. So R, hydraulic resistance, we can define as head difference divided by change in flow rate. So initially the head was H bar plus H bar. Now at a given instant the head is, say, H bar plus H. So the difference in head is H. When the head was H bar, the flow rate was Q bar. Now the outflow rate is Q bar plus Q naught. So change in flow rate is Q naught. Let us call this as hydraulic resistance. So we'll define hydraulic capacitance. It is defined as amount of liquid stored in a tank per unit increase in head. So now, applying conservation of mass equation, inflow rate minus outflow rate, say for a small time dt, then C is the amount of liquid stored per unit increase in head. During dt time, let us say increase in head is dH. So inflow rate minus outflow rate into time is equal to liquid stored. So now if I reorganize, I'll get C dH by dt Qi minus Q naught as the equation. I have defined R as H by Q naught. So Q naught can be written as Q naught is equal to H by R. And I will substitute into this equation. Then I will get C dH by dt plus H by R is equal to Qi. If I take Laplace for this, it is Cs plus 1 by R, H of S is equal to Qi of S. If I take LCM, then it becomes RCS plus 1 by R, whole thing into H of S is equal to Qi of S. Again, for this, if I take Laplace, Q naught of S is equal to H of S by R. Okay, it is not a variable, so don't take R of S for this. So H of S by R is equal to Q naught of S. Let me replace this H of S by Q naught of S. Then Q I of S by Q naught of S is equal to 1 by RCS plus 1. Let me replace this RC by T, which is time constant. So Q naught of S by Qi of S is equal to 1 by Ts plus 1. So you will get the first order equation. It's a first order system. So I can introduce one more tank. I can make another first order so that overall it can be a second order system. Okay, the same way. Let us consider another system, say pneumatic system. Let us say I am filling air into a tank. Filling air into a tank. Suppose the supply pressure is, when the supply pressure was P bar, here also P bar like this in the tank. Now I increase the supply pressure by Pi. So the supply pressure will become P bar plus Pi. So now air is pushed into this. So as the air gets stored in this tank, assume it is a constant volume tank, then its pressure increases by P naught. So now we can define this Q as the airflow rate. R is the pneumatic resistance. So potential is Pi minus P naught. So Pi minus P naught, if you want to write this as small Pi, small P naught, by flow rate Q. It is something like electrical resistance is V by I. So V is the potential difference, I is the current. The same way, the potential difference is Pi minus P naught, and current in this case is flow rate. So you will get the pneumatic resistance R. Similarly, let us define pneumatic capacitance. So it is the amount of air stored in this tank per unit increase in pressure. So air inflow rate for a small time, say dt, so this must be equal to air stored. So you know air flow rate is Q and small time dt. C is the pneumatic capacitance. Let us say increase in pressure is during dt dp naught. So then we can write C dp naught by dt is equal to Q. Q is nothing but Pi minus P naught. So then R, I cross multiply, I'll get RC dp naught by dt. P naught I'll bring it equal to Pi. If I take Laplace, I'll get P naught by P naught of S by Pi of S is equal to 1 by RCS plus 1. RC can be replaced by T, which is time constant. Then again is a first order pneumatic system. Same way, let us consider another example, say thermal system. So this is a furnace. Let us say Q bar is the rate at which the heat is flowing in. Theta bar is the corresponding temperature here. And Q bar is a steady flow heat outflow rate. Okay. So let me increase the heat inflow rate by Qi. And outflow rate is a Q naught. If this inflow rate is greater than outflow rate, some amount of energy is stored so that the temperature will increase by theta. Let us say C is the thermal capacitance. So heat inflow rate minus heat outflow rate into time must be equal to heat energy stored. So C d theta by dt is equal to Qi minus Q naught. Again reorganize in this fashion and replace Q naught by theta by r, and you will get the equation like this. Then take Laplace, arrange output by input. You will get again 1 by Ts plus 1. So you can call this as first order thermal system. Whether it is a thermal system, pneumatic system, or hydraulic system, all have the same transfer function. Only thing is the physical variables, the resistances C, are defined with respect to those systems. So in general, all first order systems will have a transfer function, say 1 by Ts plus 1, or sometimes we can represent it by tau, which is nothing but time constant. So what is time constant? We will study that later. Okay, right, fine. So now let us take a little more complex example. Now I have one tank, connected it to another tank. Let us say Qi is the deviation in flow rate and Q0 is the deviation in outflow rate, and Q is the flow rate from tank 1 to tank 2. Let us say H1 is the change in head in tank 1, C1 is the capacitance of tank 1, R1 is the resistance between tank 1 and tank 2, and H2 is the deviation in head of tank 2, and C2 is the capacitance of this, and R2 is the resistance here. Now I can write equation first considering tank 1, then I can write equation considering tank 2. So for tank 1, C dH1 by dt is equal to Qi minus Q, and R1 is nothing but H1 minus H2 divided by Q. Okay, now let us consider tank 2 and write the equation. Okay, R2 is equal to H2 by Q0. So now by taking Laplace and making the manipulations, we can obtain Q0 of S by Qi of S, and you will definitely get a second order system transfer function. Okay, so that part you can complete. So you can just play this video, understand the meaning of mathematical models. So far I have discussed a number of examples, but I have considered many examples, but most of these examples are very simple examples. As a first course, this is all right, but using this idea, we can always look at solving complex problems. So you have seen the transfer function of armature control DC motor, where one part of the circuit was electrical, another part of the circuit was mechanical. Thus we could find the transfer function of electromechanical system also. So like this, a number of complex mechanical, electromechanical, maybe mechanical and pneumatic, mechanical and hydraulic, all such examples exist. We can think of writing the mathematical models of such examples. Anyway, these ideas will give a kind of lay the foundation for solving complex problems. Now, how do we use some of the commercially available tools to study the behavior? For that, how we can model them using a commercial tool? I think the MATLAB is the most popular tool. In that MATLAB, along with the MATLAB, we get Simulink also, which I have explained earlier. So now how do we create this Simulink models? Probably we want to study the behavior of these systems for different types of forcing function or stimuli. So if I take an example like this, right, and the equation of this is mx double dot cx dot plus kx is equal to f of t. So in expanded form, I have written like this: m d square x by dt square c dx by dt plus kx is equal to f of t. Now what we can do is to draw the Simulink diagram. As I mentioned, you should open MATLAB, then you have to click on Simulink, then take the Simulink tools, select the tools, and you should be able to create the Simulink model. Simulink model. Simulink model. So now from the Simulink library, you can choose the modeling blocks. So in the older version you used to have this. In the present version you have a summing point. You can choose this one. And here, basically from this equation you can see here, t square x by dt square means you will get x double dot. That is acceleration. Right. This 1 by s indicates integration. Laplace of f of t, Laplace of integral of f of t dt is 1 by s f of s, so integral function. So once it is integrated, you will get x dot. Once again, if you integrate, you will get x. The x is multiplied by k by m. X is multiplied by k by m, that is this gain. Okay, I have given the values for k and m. K is 4, say m is equal to 1. Then you will get this, right? Then you can connect it to this one. Similarly, pick up dx by dt means x dot you pick up. This x dot you multiplied by c by m. Then again it is minus. So connect it to minus. So you have to feed back these. Here, let us say I have given a step type stimuli. What is it? I will in the next chapter I will be talking about. I will define all these things. So assume that you know what a step function is in mathematics. So this is 1 by m, that is I have given it as m equal to 1, 1 by m is 1. So I'll connect it here. It is plus. Now if I run this, then once it runs, it will give you the value of acceleration. You can observe this from this scope. Velocity you can observe, and displacement you can observe. Basically, the dependent variable in this case is x. X is, if I consider it as a mechanical displacement, how exactly displacement varies with time you can find. Here displacement with respect, velocity with respect to time, acceleration of the system with respect to time when a step function is given. This in the scope you can observe, right? This is the scope 1, then it is scope means this one velocity, and scope 2 is acceleration. These are acceleration values, these are velocity values, these are acceleration. Scope 1 in this case is displacement values. So let us not interpret the values now, reinterpret this graph later. Just the idea is how to create this model, how to get the output. That's what exactly I'm trying to demonstrate. So in subsequent chapters, I'll teach you how exactly these have to be interpreted and learn something out of it. Instead of a step, if I give a ramp stimuli, the responses will be different. Again, you can see here displacement, again you can see velocity and the acceleration, they vary. Okay, instead of that, if I give a sine function as the stimuli, you can see the response. So for different stimuli, the response will be different by the same system. So if you in the sine wave, if I know the natural frequency of the system, which is nothing but root of k by m, correct? And in this, when I say sinusoidal input means a naught sine omega t, this is stimuli, its frequency is omega, system frequency is omega again. If I can set omega value is equal to omega n value, then you can see the system resonating. If I make this damping value 0, it will build up and finally it will reach to some infinite value. So then you can understand like how the resonance occurs in a system. Okay, so some of these things you can also write code. It is not very difficult. So if we visit the MATLAB help file, and this kind of explanation how exactly these data have to be entered is given. So if you just follow that and enter this, you will be able to get this. So here I have put numerator is 1, denominator as 1, 2, 4, and for the step stimuli how exactly it behaves. So I will get one solution. Suppose instead of 1, 2, 4, if I make it 1, 3, 4, I'll get another solution. Suppose I make again denominator if I change, correct? Once again, if I, so we can clearly see that as these values change, the system response for the given stimuli keeps changing. These are observations you can make, right? Suppose you have a fourth order system. Suppose you have a fourth order system. So here you have M1, M2, and I have taught you how to get the transfer function of such systems. Correct? This is equation 1 connected with mass M1. This equation is connected with mass M2. Then I have given values for M1, M2, C1, C2, K1, K2 and all that. Then I have created a Simulink model. So it is not again very difficult. Here you take x1 double dot, keep on the left and transfer everything to the right. Here keep x2 double dot on the left and transfer everything to the right. So then it is easy to draw this model or create this model. Correct. Then you can study the displacement of mass M1 and the displacement of mass M2. Right? So that way, even if it is a very complex one, it is possible to create such a model and we can study its response for a given stimuli. Okay. So again, you can also have in the transfer function form, you can give the values and you can write the code and you can obtain the response, right? So this is using MATLAB, the other one is using Simulink. Okay, that's how you can use this tool. I strongly recommend you to learn this MATLAB tool. As we go, we come across very complex problems. So then using MATLAB and Simulink, it is easy for us to solve such examples, get the results, and from the results we can do a lot of interpretations. And we can come back to achieve what we want. We can go on manipulating the various parameters. Okay, with that, will end modeling of physical systems. Thank you.